I'm Caleb Giddings from Gun Nuts Media, and today's video is going to be a review of the Beretta APX RDO. We've discussed the APX previously in our first look video, where we talked about this, the APX Centurion, and of course the APX Compact, the three pistols in the APX family, not of course counting the standard full-sized APX. The reason the RDO interests me is obviously we've seen a huge explosion in the use of red dots, slide-mounted red dots specifically on pistols, and the technology has really come a long way. To test this pistol for review, I took it to Scott Jedlinski, aka Modern Samurai Project's red dot class. We've got a Trijicon RMR mounted on here. We had no issues with the RMR itself during the class. We had no issues with the mount during the class. Over about the 600-ish rounds that I fired in that class, I was able to get a real feel for the pistol that makes me confident enough in my assessment of it to actually review it. Unlike a lot of other gun channels, I won't just I won't shoot 50 rounds through a gun and review it. I want to actually shoot it. I want to use it in match conditions or class conditions in some sort of environment where I'm actually going to test the pistol in a meaningful way. That's led me to some conclusions about the APX RDO. There's some good things, some bad things, and some things that are entirely up to user preference. Now let's talk about the good things first. The good things. The gun ran fine. I had no issues, no failures to cycle, to feed, or extract that were the fault of the gun itself. I had an issue with some bad ammunition that was slightly out of spec. No problem, just don't use that ammunition. The one thing that I really did like, one of the problems that I've had with slide-mounted red dot optics on some of these factory solutions where the company itself is making the milling and the mount for it, is that they've come loose and they haven't worked super great. This one's still fine. It's on tight, it seems 600 plus rounds, and there are no issues with it whatsoever. So those are a couple of things that I really like. I also made some changes to this pistol before I took it to the class. I put in Beretta's factory manufactured heavy guide rod, so that's heavier than the factory one. I don't know what the weight difference is. I don't know what the recoil spring weight is. And then I also changed the striker assembly in the back. The factory one is heavier, and Beretta will sell you on their web store a green one, which you can see the green one right there. They'll sell you a green striker spring that is lighter weight. What that does is it reduces the trigger pull on this particular pistol by about a half a pound. So it went from 5.5 pounds when I bought it fresh out of the box to just under 5 pounds now that I've shot it in a little bit and put this new striker spring in it. I like everything about it in that specific instance. A couple of things I don't like about it. And this is subjective. I will be the first person to admit that this is a very subjective thing. The grip, as it comes from the factory, is too small. I have to put the large back strap on here, and that's just so I can establish enough gripping area to get a proper master firing grip on this gun. And it's still not enough. I'd actually like it to be a little bit bigger. I'd also like it to be checkered up here, right here. And I'm going to complain about this on every polymer framed gun I get, except for the Gen 3 Glock RTF, which was perfect in this regard. But this should be checkered up here, guys, all right? Dear all firearms manufacturers ever, this needs to be, so this texturing is actually good enough, all right? So the texturing on the grip's grippy enough. I'm perfectly happy with it, but it needs to be up here. Dear all firearms manufacturers, more texture here, please, for the love of Pete. I don't particularly care about the finger grooves. Beretta does make a full-size grip module for this that has no finger grooves if my fingers just so happen to fit into them, so I don't have a whole lot of complaints there. One thing that I don't like, and I understand this is a design thing. I don't know. I'm struggling for a word here. All right, I understand why these slide serrations exist, okay? They're to provide you with a positive grip on the slide under all conditions. What you can't see, and what's difficult to show you on camera, is right here on the back of that slide serration, I have left some of the skin from my dominant thumb because I shoot with or my non-dominant thumb, I shoot with a fairly thumbs high grip on the gun. So when the gun cycles, that goes, well, you can see, yeah, that's not pleasant. I don't particularly like that, but to fix it, I've just lowered my thumb a little bit when establishing my master grip. In terms of performance, this gun performed great. It's extremely accurate. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised at how accurate it was, coming from the polymer striker-fired blah-de-blah world where accuracy is, not taken that seriously sometimes. It was very accurate. At 10 yards, I was able to repeatedly hit the small A zone in a USPSA target with no issues. I shot a bunch of sub 4-inch 20-yard groups standing freestyle with it. It is more than accurate enough for any task that you would ask this firearm to perform. Again, I like the mount that is holding the RMR on here. It's still in and it's still working great. Beretta will be making suppressor height sights available for this, which I'll be installing as soon as possible because I have been carrying this gun, and right now my only sighting system is the RMR, so if that were to go down, I would be reduced to using gross sighting systems. I like being able to field stripping this gun. Super easy to do, love it, all right? All you do is you press this little button right here on the side, rotate this lever here, and the whole top end just comes right off the gun. All in all, what do I think of the APX RDO full size? I like it, all right? I don't normally like striker-fired handguns, all right? They're all just kind of meh to me, you know? I think you could take the APX RDO, throw it in a bucket with a bunch of other striker-fired handguns, pull one out, put it in a holster, take it to work, and you would be fine. I strongly believe that this is just as a legitimate a choice for a modern concealed carry handgun as you would get from a Gen 5 Glock or a SIG P320 or a HK VP9. One thing I will say that in my opinion, and again, a lot of stuff like this, you're getting down to really subjective opinions, right? Performance we can measure. Is this gun more accurate than XYZ? Does it have, and that's actually, accuracy and reliability are about the only two objective things we can measure. Everything else, from felt recoil to how the front sight tracks to anything else like that, it's entirely user subjective. But one thing that I like, all right, most of the modern polymer frame striker fired guns have a fully tensioned striker. What that means is it's 100% cocked and ready to go, and all I'm doing when I press the trigger is releasing the sear. So what I like about this is that I don't have a lot of wallowing through the take-up before I actually get to the sear. Now, while I would prefer a more revolver-style trigger, this one is definitely set up to be, for lack of a better word, 1911-ish in feel, and I think that with some time and attention, I could get a really crisp, really short, really light break on this gun. So that's it for our short review of the APX RDO. Here are the important points again. The mount, solid, hasn't come loose, shooting great. Trigger, really good. Stippling, not enough. Reliability, excellent. Do I like it? Yes, I do. Do I carry it? Yes, I do. I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for watching. And remember, until next time, run your gun, not your mouth.